The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, Week 8 injury update, rankings update. If you hit the description below, you can find all the updated rankings and all of the other shows. If you're looking for the DraftKings ownership show, that's up on the YouTube feed and it's up on the podcast feed right now. Already did that with Jeff Ulrich to really break down how the injuries will affect ownership on the DraftKings Week 8 Millionaire Maker. For this is more of season-long stuff and just to get you up to date on what is happening heading into Sunday. Remember, Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time on the DraftKings YouTube channel, and then at 11:30 a.m. on the podcast feed, Tim, Garion, and myself will be going game by game, updating you on all the latest injuries, the latest ranking updates for everything we have. Then we're doing a half-hour question-answer period. If you got start-sits, come there. Remember, for this episode, smash the like button, and if you do that, go to the comments section, leave your DraftKings handle, and I want you to rank the skill position players, minus Derek Carr for the Raiders, for PPR scoring this week. Just 1 through 5. You can throw some Martavis Bryant in there, some Seth Roberts, some Jalen Richard, Doug Martin, Jared Cook. Doesn't matter who it is. Just rank them in order of how you think that they will perform this Sunday against the Indianapolis Colts. I'm very curious to see where people are landing on this because it's all over the place in terms of like ownership projections, who's going to see the most snaps, who's going to get all the volume. Will Richard play more than Martin? It's all a confusing situation, but there is fantasy gold to be unlocked somewhere in that matchup. I'm just curious to see where people think that's going to be because I have my takes. You can hit that in the rankings, but we'll see. Injury report right away. Guys that have already been ruled out before we get into the more extreme injuries. We got Rashard Higgins won't play for the Browns. Leonard Fournette obviously out over in London. Carlos Hyde will make his debut along with TJ Yeldon in the Jags backfield against the Philadelphia Eagles. James O'Shaughnessy, the tight end, my man, is going to be out in that game, so he cannot build on his lead against Jordan Leggett in my 10-1 season-long bet with Tim Andercuss, and eventually Mr. O'Shaughnessy will be back following the bye, and that hip will be hunky-dory. Then he'll continue scoring all these points. David Greenidge will start in his place. Dalvin Cook will likely be out until after the Minnesota bye, so he'll probably return Week 11, so keep firing up Latavius Murray. Even in a bad matchup, he's going to get volume and touchdown opportunity, so you got to play him. Le'Veon Bell still holding out. Keep going with James Conner. John Ross will miss the Bucks and Bengals game with a groin injury. He's expected to be out a few weeks. Torrey Smith, a late add with a knee problem, will be out for the Carolina Panthers. Bump up DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel ever so slightly. Not must starts by any means, but they are better starts today than they were 2 days ago, for what it's worth. Ryan Grant will miss the game for the Colts, and Worcester Rogers in that one, and Jamison Crowder will again miss the Redskins game with an ankle injury. Paul Richardson will return in that matchup. So you can play some P. Rich. He's probably the best option that they have in the receiving game right now because Jordan Reed doesn't do anything. So P. Rich it is against the Giants. Big news from the Thursday night game. Will Fuller exploded, had a great game, and then blew out his ACL. He's done for the season, maybe even lingering into next season too. So for dynasty formats, you might want to keep an eye on that. Kiki Cutie missed the game with a hamstring problem. With the extended break, the 10 days off the Texans have, he should return, but he returns to a slot role. So what are they going to do on the outside? Can you play Vincent Brown, the guy who spells his name just egregiously? Maybe. They are bringing in Bryce Butler to work out with the team right now. I'd probably expect him to be signed, or they go and sign a free agent to get him incorporated into the mix. As it stands right now, Cutie becomes probably like a top 30 receiver, and he was fringing around there anyway because he was really sucking the life out of Will Fuller. But DeAndre Hopkins' target share should just go up. So it's great news if you have DeAndre Hopkins. In Green Bay, Geronimo Allison and Randall Cobb both look like they're going to be back. Allison almost for sure. Cobb will be a game-time decision, but he is trending towards playing. Fire up some Allison, fire up some Randall Cobb if you got him. If they're playing, this game is the highest projected point total game of the week. Obviously, Devontae Adams is the far superior start. I have Geronimo Allison inside my top 35, Cobb inside my top 40. Really like Allison on DraftKings, too, at $5,000. He was lighting it up before he got hurt. If Randall Cobb doesn't play, feel free to use Marquez Valdez-Scantling in his spot, who's been excellent while Cobb has been out. He would play that slot role with Allison returning. He'd just bump in there and take over for Randall Cobb. On the Rams side of the ball, Cooper Kupp is doubtful. He hasn't officially been ruled out as of this recording, but he's not going to play. So just take him out of your lineups and just roll with the rest of the Rams. In Detroit, this is a big one. Theo Riddick is out again for the second straight week, leaving Kerryon Johnson and LeGarrette Blount to handle the majority of the touches in the Lions' backfield. You're going to get some Mir Abdullah, probably going to be activated again, but he's not going to play all that much. Here's the one thing, though. I've bumped up Kerryon Johnson just a little bit because it's going to be more concentrated. However, when he does not get the touches on the goal line, please, people, don't freak out. He doesn't get the goal line touches. LeGarrette Blount does. So don't be triggered when LeGarrette Blount scores 5 touchdowns in this game and Kerryon Johnson has 18 carries for 110 yards. That's a great day. Maybe he can bring one in from deep. I still like him more than Blount, but you have to be realistic about this. That's why he's not a top 10 play, because he doesn't touch the ball when they're inside the 5-yard line. He got a shot last week against Miami. Didn't work out. They gave it to Blount. Next play, boom, touchdown. You think that's going to linger in Matt Patricia's head? Absolutely. So Blount is going to continue to get all this goal line work, but if Kerryon Johnson continue to be a part of this receiving game and take a little bit of that snap share where Theo Riddick was playing, it's fantastic news for his fantasy upside for this week and the rest of the season. In San Francisco, Matt Breida returned to a limited practice on Friday. He's still very iffy, probably 50-50 to play. Right now, Raheem Mostert is being talked up in DraftKings circles, and if Breida doesn't play, he is a nice price, but if Breida is active, you probably can't trust any of these guys, because we've seen this with Breida over time. If he's active and he plays, he might play 10 snaps, and then he's out again. Eventually, they're just going to have to sit him down and let him rest a week, and he'll be fine with the myriad of injuries that he's gone through so far this season. If he does sit, I do prefer Mostert to Juszczyk and Alfred Morris, but frankly, it's the only long shot play you got. With Breida, if he plays, you probably play him because you have no better options, but I have him ranked just on the outside of the top 30 at running back right now. It's hard to put much trust into both this offense and this injury situation, so be very wary of that. The Monday night game has a bunch of injuries as well that we're going to have a better sense of on Saturday, because that's when they get a chance to practice again. They get the extra day. So LaShawn McCoy has yet to pass concussion protocol. If he doesn't pass it on Saturday, he is not playing Monday night, which would leave ample opportunity for both Chris Ivory and Marcus Murphy to get involved as 14-point dogs against the New England Patriots at home. It's not a bad spot for Ivory, but now he's dealing with a hamstring injury that he suffered during practice this week. He was already had a foot injury, now he has a hamstring injury, so you'll have to keep an eye on him. There could be a situation here where we have no Shady, no Chris Ivory, and we're left with Marcus Murphy and Tywan Jones in the backfield. So that's not a situation you want to put yourself in whatsoever. So have a contingency plan, but we should know about Shady and Ivory come Saturday. If Shady sits and Ivory plays, Ivory is a top 25 play for the week. If Shady is playing, he's a top 25 play for the week. He's like the new Frank Gore. He just puts up volume, and it's not great, but maybe he can score a touchdown, and all of a sudden, you're not looking so bad. On the New England side of the ball, Gronk and Gordon both limited on Friday. They're probably going to go. Sony Michel not practicing. He's doubtful. He's not playing this week. He's not officially ruled out yet, but we'll probably see that news come out on Sunday. So in the backfield, expect a lot of James White, some Kenyon Barner. They still haven't signed anyone. Maybe they'll activate a running back from the practice squad. That remains to be seen, but just play James White. Be on your way. Don't go fooling around with Kenyon Barner this week. There are better options. Even to pick up LeGarrette Blount off the waiver wire is probably a superior option to playing Kenyon Barner. In Oakland, we know Amari Cooper was traded, and again, this goes to the DK giveaway, which I'll be announcing the winners to that on the Monday morning show, live 10 a.m. Eastern Time with Chris Meany on the DraftKings YouTube channel. Again, you can get that on the podcast version after the fact for free if you just want to listen to it on your phone. But Seth Roberts is going to play. Martavis Bryant's going to see a ton of snaps. He's being talked up by Gruden, but we all know that doesn't mean anything. It's like, hey, we're not shopping Amari Cooper. Boom, Amari Cooper's traded. So Seth Roberts, $3,400 on DraftKings too, and someone who has stolen a lot of touchdowns away in this Oakland offense over the years. So he is a viable red zone threat that is sort of off a lot of people's radar, but he will return to action this week. With the Jets, Robbie Anderson is doubtful. He's not going to play. Quincy Enunwa already out. That leaves Jermaine Kearse, my buddy / arch nemesis now, and everyone's arch nemesis, Jermaine Kearse, Cursed, with his 0 points last week. He should get some more opportunity in this spot. They just signed Rashard Matthews. No idea how much he's going to play. They're talking about bringing back Terrell Pryor, but he's not going to play on Sunday. That leaves Andre Roberts, Jerome Peak. It's not a good situation. Chris Herndon IV at tight end might actually be the streaming option that you want in this matchup. He should see increased opportunity, increased snap share, and maybe more market share of the targets for some of these shorter passes. Khalil Mack is real iffy on the other side of the ball. So is Allen Robinson. that if Mac doesn't play, the pressure might not be as impactful on Sam Darnold, but he's making a lot of shorter throws. You take away his deep threat. There's no Bilal Powell in this game either, so you're dealing with Isaiah Crowell, who I like this week, or Cannon in the backfield to catch a few passes, but a lot of short passes that should favor Jermaine Kearse and Chris Herndon in this matchup if you need someone. Also, if you're prospecting long-term for the Jets backfield, Powell's done for the season, put on IR. Crowell's there, and I don't know how viable Cannon's going to be after this week because Elijah McGuire is eligible to return from the IR. So if you want to stash him, if you need a running back, no idea how he's going to fit into this offense. But even if he assumes the Bilal Powell role, that does have a bit of value, especially in PPR format. So he's free right now. He's like 0% owned. He's someone that you can go to the waiver wire right now and just add for free before he comes back next week and people are fighting about him on the waiver wire. Probably a better ad than Donta Foreman, to be perfectly honest with you, because I still don't know when he is going to return. So that's just an easy swap if you were holding on to him. With Denver, Royce Freeman is out for the week. He has somewhere between a high and low ankle sprain. So they could say mid-ankle sprain, which is apparently not a real thing. So they don't even know what the hell they're talking about in Denver. Fire up some Phillip Lindsay. He's number 10 in my rankings right now, but don't be shocked if Devonta Booker ends up playing like 40 to 45% of the snaps. He is their third down back. He is their receiving back. He's better in pass blocking and pass protection. And if they do fall behind in this game against the Chiefs, you're going to see an awful lot of him on the field this week in Kansas City. That if you need a deep stab in a PPR league, Booker is not egregious to go play. Lindsay obviously has the far superior opportunity. He's going to get the volume. He's going to get the goal line work. But if things do flip, Booker could see ample opportunity in this game as well against a very soft defense. In Indianapolis, Marlon Mack returned to practice on Friday with his ankle injury. He's still not cleared as a 100% go, but it is likely that he is going to play. Robert Turbin probably not going to play in the Colts backfield with a shoulder problem. If for whatever reason that Mack misses the game, you can easily sub in Nyheim Hines. I would prefer him over Jordan Wilkins in that spot. That's going to be a Sunday decision that you're going to see. Jack Doyle, finally, he has got my grandma's hip, apparently got hip replacement. He's fine, off the injury report. So he is negatively impacted how Eric Ebron's ranking. He was number 3. I've dropped him down to number 10. Doyle enters inside the top 20. Not very high, though. Not sure what his role is going to be in this offense, but this is a very sneaky shootout game. Point total over 50. That if you had to play Doyle, I don't hate it. I would prefer someone like Ben Watson this week in a superior matchup against the Vikings, who've just bled points to tight end so far this season. That's a nice opportunity to play over Doyle as you're treading water to see where he lands back in this offense. And Eric Swoop, the third string tight end, will actually miss this game. He is out with a knee injury. Ryan Grant, as I mentioned before, will also miss the Week 8 contest against the Raiders. In Seattle, no news on Nick Vannett and his back problem yet, so I don't know what's going on with him. He might play, but Ed Dixon will return from his groin injury. I have him ranked number 19 in the tight end rankings. It's very curious to see how he'll be used in the different packages, where he's a decent blocking tight end. He has alligator arms. He was used in the red zone quite a bit, filling in for Greg Olsen last year in Carolina. We've seen the Seahawks run through a bunch of different tight ends this year that he's probably their best one. Will Disley on IR, Nick Vannett, who knows. That Dixon could be a red zone target for Russell Wilson against a softer Detroit Lions defense, that he is someone to fire up, that if you just desperately need someone. I like Herndon better, I like Watson better. Those guys are available. I like Doyle better, but if you play in the deepest of deep leagues or you just want to take a shot, $2,500 on DraftKings, not the end of the world. Jacksonville, Dante Moncrief will play in the London game. He had passport issues. He's over there now. He's practicing with the team, so he's fine to play. I still like Dede Westbrook the best of all the Jacksonville receivers. And finally, in Arizona, Jermaine Gresham popped up on Friday with a heel issue. That's never good. See anyone added to the injury report on a Friday. So he's real iffy to play this game. That's a later game too in Week 8. So you're probably not going to know until like halfway through. But if you wanted to do a late swap or just hold on to Ricky Seals-Jones, he should play near 100% of the snaps should Jermaine Gresham miss this game. Seals-Jones in his forearm will be fine to play. That's a real soft defense against the 49ers. So Seals-Jones was injured in the Thursday nighter and they got behind by a ton. They just left him out of the game. He's had his 10 days back. He's in a pretty decent spot. He's not the greatest talent. This is not a great offense. We don't even know about Josh Rosen. It does look like he will play. But whether it's Rosen, whether it's Glennon, utilizing the tight end should be something that new OC Byron Leftwich really takes some consideration into. So Ricky Seals-Jones, a plausible play if Jermaine Gresham sits this week. That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience Injury Report. You can go to DraftKingsPlaybook.com or just hit the description or check me out on Twitter to find all the updated rankings. Go back, watch all the shows, give them all a like, just support the show and download the podcast. Leave a review if you got 10 seconds too. That way people can find it, and it's like you telling people without actually telling anyone. And it helps me out a ton. Thank you all for watching. Good luck in Week 8. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!